6 p.m. Pakistan's Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Zahra Sikandar. First, the headlines. Prime Minister, during telephone conversation with President of Iran, has reiterated Pakistan's readiness to play a constructive role in de-escalating the situation. Deputy Prime Minister, addressing a special session on Iran-Israel war in Istanbul, has emphasized on resolving crisis through peaceful means. Director General Inner Services Public Relations says Pakistan Army is responding to enemy with modern war strategy. APHC says the just resolution of Kashmir dispute through United Nations supervised plebiscite can ensure lasting peace in South Asia. 9 Palestinians were martyred by Israeli forces in Gaza today. Chitral A won the Shandur Polo Tournament, defeating Gilgit-Baltistan by 9-7 goals in Shandur today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif held a telephonic conversation with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian this afternoon and conveyed Pakistan's condemnation of U.S. attacks on Iran. Shehbaz Sharif reaffirmed Pakistan's unwavering solidarity with the brotherly people and government of Iran while expressing heartfelt condolences on the loss of precious lives and prayed for the swift recovery of the injured. He expressed concerns that U.S. strikes targeted facilities that were under the safeguards of the International Atomic Energy Agency, while noting Iran's right to self-defense as enshrined under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. The Prime Minister stressed upon the need to immediately return to dialogue and diplomacy as the only viable path forward. He also called for urgent collective efforts to de-escalate the situation. Pakistan supports the resolution of Iran nuclear issue through peaceful means, diplomatic engagement, and sustained dialogue. This was stated by Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar during a special session on Iran-Israel war on the occasion of 51st session of the OIC Council of Foreign Ministers in Istanbul today. He said Pakistan stands in solidarity with Iran and offers the deepest condolences at the loss of human lives as a result of targeting of civilian areas by Israel. Ishaq Dar said Israeli aggression took place at a time when the International Atomic Energy Agency was continuing its verification activities in Iran. Pakistan has condemned the U.S. attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities. In a statement issued in Islamabad today, spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Shafkat Ali Khan, said Pakistan is a gravely concerned country at the possible further escalation of tensions in the region. The spokesperson said the unprecedented escalation in tension and violence owing to ongoing aggression against Iran is deeply disturbing. He said any further escalation of tensions will have severely damaging implications for the region and beyond. Shafkat Ali Khan said all the parties must adhere to international law, particularly international humanitarian law. The spokesperson said recourse to dialogue, diplomacy in line with the principles and purposes of the United Nations Charter remains the only viable pathway to resolve the crises in the region. Secretary of United Nations General Antonio Guterres has termed the use of force by the United States against Iran as a direct threat to international peace and security. In a post on social media platform X, he dubbed it as a dangerous escalation in the region. He said this conflict could rapidly get out of control with catastrophic consequences for civilians, the region, and the world. Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, emphasized member states to de-escalate and uphold their obligations under the United Nations Charter and other rules of international law. Iran has called on the United Nations Security Council to convene an emergency meeting following the United States attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities. Iran's United Nations envoy Saeed Irvani conveyed this demand in a letter to the United Nations Security Council, describing the U.S. actions as unprovoked airstrikes. He said targeted facilities are under constant monitoring by the International Atomic Energy Agency and operate in full compliance with the safeguards agreements and treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons Protocol. This is Radio Pakistan. Director General Inner Services Public Relations, Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry, says followers of all religions are equal citizens in Pakistan and they enjoy all constitutional rights. Interacting with representatives of different religions and social classes in Karachi, he said national unity is maintained through equality and harmony. Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry made it clear that only the state can declare jihad and no individual or group has this authority. Regarding India, the DGISPR said India is sponsoring terrorism inside Pakistan and said Pakistan's army is responding to the enemy with modern war strategy. On the occasion, the representatives of different religions and social classes described the meeting with the DGISPR as significant. An 8-member delegation comprising of Kashmir leaders and human rights activists has left for Geneva to attend 59th session of Human Rights Council, led by the chairman, Kashmir Institute of International Relations, Altaf Hussain Bani. The high-level delegation is scheduled to brief Geneva-based diplomats, members of Human Rights Council, and world human rights groups about the unabated human rights violations perpetuated by Indian troops against civilians in the United Nations recognized disputed territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The delegation would also seek the international human rights groups' attention towards the Indian state's infringement upon religious freedoms and rights of the Kashmiri people. The All-Parties Heard Conference has condemned Indian Home Minister Amit Shah's Indus Water Treaty remarks as nothing more than communal provocation and hate-driven politics aimed at deepening divisions in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. APHC spokesperson Advocate Abdul Rashid Minhas, in a statement in Srinagar today, said such statements reflect a dangerous escalation of the Modi regime's anti-Kashmir policies. He said that Pakistan has every right over the rivers flowing from the disputed territory. The spokesperson reiterated that only a just resolution of the Kashmir dispute through a United Nations supervised plebiscite can ensure lasting peace in South Asia. Meanwhile, the Indian National Investigation Agency has arrested 2 Kashmir youth in Islamabad district under the Draconian Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. The NIA alleged that the detained youth sheltered armed men in April, but local residents have strongly denied the accusation, asserting that the youth are innocent civilians with no links to militancy. At least 9 Palestinians were martyred and several others injured today in the latest Israeli shelling at civilians in Gaza. According to details, the casualties happened when Israeli forces targeted Gaza's Nusayrat refugee camp and Rafah area. Chitral A won the Shandur polo tournament, defeating Gilgit-Baltistan by 9-7 goals in Shandur today. Corps Commander Peshawar Lieutenant General Omar Ahmed Bukhari was chief guest on this occasion. He awarded trophy and medals to the players of the winning team. On this occasion, traditional dances of Chitral in Gilgit-Baltistan were also performed. The celebrations of the 3rd day of the festival started with the national anthem. On this occasion, the bands of Frontier Corps and Gilgit-Baltistan presented the tunes of national songs. A large number of tourists, both from home and abroad, attended the festival. And finally, the weather. Hot and humid weather is likely to persist in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, rain, wind, and thunder shower is expected in Islamabad, Upper Punjab, Butihar region, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan, and Kashmir. Partly cloudy weather with dust storm. Rain and thunder shower is likely at isolated places in southeast Sindh. To end the news, here again are the headlines. Prime Minister, during telephonic conversation with President of Iran, has reiterated Pakistan's readiness to play a constructive role in de-escalating the situation. Deputy Prime Minister, addressing a special session on Iran-Israel war in Istanbul, has emphasized on resolving the crisis through peaceful means. Director General Inner Services Public Relations says Pakistan Army is responding to enemy with modern war strategy. APHC says a just resolution of Kashmir dispute through UN supervised plebiscite can ensure lasting peace in South Asia. Chitral won the Shandur polo tournament, defeating Gilgit-Baltistan by 9-7 goals in Shandur today. And with this, we come to the end of the news for the moment. For more news and analysis, visit our website, radio.ua.pk, and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.